Scott with FDJtool.com. And when you work at a workbench, you're gonna run into using a lot of tools when you do a lot of different jobs. You accumulate them, but you don't have a place to put them. Workbenches really aren't the best place to store things. Stuff stuff in drawers, put it underneath, but they're not organized, you're not gonna be able to find them. And that's not a good thing. But I have a solution for you. It's called the Workbench System by Foredom. And it is a series of storage arms that mount onto this flex shaft stand. And these arms are made in such a way that each of them offers a unique storage solution for your particular needs. You mix and match, you get the ones that you need to do the job that you need, and it is so awesome, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to use. The heart of this workbench system is, of course, the double flex shaft hanger. You're going to get a 25-inch steel rod and a metal base that you can screw into the top of your workbench. Got one already in place here. You're going to take your rod and it's going to fit right into that base like so, and you're going to tighten it down with an Allen wrench. Like this. There we go. Okay. And next you get the flex shaft hanger hook. And that's going to go right into the top of your stand like so. Of course, you got a wide range of heights. I'm going to bring it down a little lower here so we can see it. And again, tighten it in place with your Allen wrench. You get two hooks on the top here. These safety hooks are going to help you hold your two flex shaft motors. And I've positioned this hook off to the side of my workbench like so that keeps the motors out of my way, and when I go to use the flex shaft I don't put a severe bend in the shaft like that, so that way I can keep the shaft lasting a lot longer. But for those of you that don't have flex shafts, or you don't use them, you use something else like a micro motor Dremel or something else, but you still want to set up your Foredom workbench system, no problem. Here's what you do. You can go ahead and get yourself the 25-inch plain support rod like this, or you can get the shorter 17-inch support rod like this. And that way you can set up a workbench system right on your bench and get organized right away. So let's see the components and what they do. The main components of the Foredom workbench system are these storage arms. They all store your items or keep them organized in quite different ways, but they all do have similar features, and I wanted to show those to you. When you look at them, you're going to find that they're all very heavy-duty stainless steel construction. They feature large aluminum clamps on the end for mounting on the support pole. They've got large Allen screws here that when you tighten onto them, they're going to hold them very firmly. You notice all of the arms are the same length. They're all 12 inches in length, so that way when you mount them on your pole, not one will overlap the other or stick out further. So it's a nice feature to keep things very uniform. When you do mount the arm onto the pole, you notice that you can slide it up and down or around pretty much anywhere you'd like for the arm to be mounted. When you find that spot on the arm that you want it to be mounted, simply take your Allen wrench and go ahead and tighten those screws to lock it in place. Like this. Once in place, you'll notice that the arm can swing a full 180 degrees all the way around. So that way, when using the item for storage, you can rotate it out of the way, but when you need a tool, you can rotate it back. By adding multiple arms to your system, you can store a variety of pieces in many different ways, and I think the best way to talk about that is to show you each one and show you what they do. You know, I don't think I would believe anybody that told me that they had all their burrs and drills and abrasives all organized on their bench where they could find them. You know what I think? I think just like everybody, there's a drawer that's just full of all these things they don't know where to put, don't know what they are, have to dig through them every time to find out what they need to do the job with. You know what? I got the arm to organize those for you. It's called the Bur arm. The Bur arm is a wonderful burr and abrasive organizer for the Foredom workbench system. Once you lock it into the place you want on your support arm, just gather up all your abrasives and put them in here so that you can find them quick and easily. This top tier has 57 holes that will hold 3 32nd-inch shanks. The two side tiers here on either side have 38 holes total for holding items up to 1/8 inch in diameter and shank size. So now you can get that drawer cleaned out and get your burrs organized, where you can find them and where you can use them. When you don't need them, just rotate the bar out of the way. But when you're looking for that particular burr or drill or abrasives, move it back into place and you can find it just like that. Now when you use a flex shaft at your bench, or you use two flex shafts at your bench, you're going to accumulate some hand pieces over the years when you're doing different kinds of jobs. You might have gotten a collet handpiece to hold some odd things. You might have gotten a hammer handpiece for that certain setting job. You might have splurged and treated yourself to a quick change handpiece to make life easy. But you spent a lot of money on these things, and you don't want to just put up your bench drawer and throw them in there, because they're going to get damaged, they're going to get scratched up. You want to keep them nice, and you also want to be able to find them when you're trying to do that certain job. Well, that's where the multi-handpiece arm comes in for the workbench system. You again put it on the pole in a convenient spot where it's going to be useful for you to reach and get to, but not in the way. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down again with set screws, just like that. And again, this 12-inch long arm, like all the other ones, same size, features these 6 pegs on the top here to keep your hand pieces organized. And those pegs work really cleverly. The flex shaft handpiece that you have has that little ball catch on there. That's the one that when you take out your flex shaft and you plug it in there, that's what locks it onto the shaft. Well, this is what locks your handpiece onto the pegs of your handpiece arm. And it keeps them upright, organized, where you can find them, and they're not rolling around and they're not bonking into each other. So when you're not using them, just rotate it out of the way, just like all the other arms. But when you need to change a handpiece for a different job, just rotate it back, take your handpiece off, find the one that's going to do the job you need to do, snap it in place, put the old handpiece here, rotate it out of the way so you can get to the job and start doing other things. Now, every workbench is inevitably going to have those little bitty parts, things, whatever, on the bench, in the drawers that you're going to get mixed up, you're going to spill them, you got to find them, you got to keep them organized, who knows what you need to do, but you got to be able to find those things to do your job, and you need to get them organized, and that's when you need the jar arm for the Foredom workbench system. The jar arm is perfect for organizing those little bitty things on your workbench, because these 6 plastic jars are wonderful. They're about 1.5 inches in diameter. They're about 2 1/4 inches tall. They've got screw off lids, so it makes it easy to get in and out to get those small things that you need. When you're not using them, simply swing it out of the way, just like any of the other arms on the workbench system. Move the jars in place when you need to get to that one particular jar, and keep your things organized. And one of the really nice features about the jar arm is it keeps your snacks organized too. Now, of course, every bench has tons of metal tools all over the place. They're probably on top, in the drawers, wherever. They might be organized, but they might not. They're probably everywhere, getting scratched up. You can't find anything. So you know what you need? You need the magnetic bar that comes available for the workbench system. The magnetic bar is a fabulous tool. It's a very strong magnet, and when we get it locked into place here, you can see that this 12-inch bar is covered in a black felt material. That's going to keep down metal-to-metal contact, so it's going to keep things from getting scratched. This is a very strong magnet, very useful because you can put it on your files, shears, pliers. You can put on center punches, tweezers, your wire gauge, even your saw frame. Stick it right there. When you don't need the tools, just move it out of the way. Very simple. pull it back when you want to get that right tool, no problem. And in fact, this bar is so strong, wouldn't recommend it, but it can hold a steel block just like that. You know, I think every bench has those tools on it. You just want to gather up, hang up on the side, get them out of the way so you can keep them neat and organized. You can find what you're looking for. Well, here's an arm for you. It's called the peg arm. The peg arm is probably one of the more versatile arms in the Foredom workbench system. And I'll show you why. Just like all the other arms, we lock it in place on our support arm. Of course, swings back and forth in and out of the way as you need it. But you'll notice the special thing about this one are all the pegs on it, 5 on each side, and you can use them to hang things on. Get those things up and out of the way. How awesome is that? But it gets better than that because you got a little felt strip on the top here that you can use as a plier rack. The pegs on either side can be used to keep your pliers either separated or from tipping over. That's pretty awesome. So we all have a lot of stuff on our bench that's just, I don't know, oddly shaped, it's small, maybe it's not magnetic, and you got to get them out of the way, you got to get them organized. Well, the tray arm is the arm for you in the workbench system. This steel tray is about 12 inches long, like all the other arms. It's about 2 1/4 inches wide, so it gives you plenty of room in order to store your items. You can position it pretty much anywhere on the arm, on your pole here. And I'm going to put it right here so we can all see. Just tighten it in place with my Allen wrench, like so. And you can easily fit all these items right in there, no problem. Keeps your workbench free of clutter. You can move it up out of the way, so when you're working, bring it back closer when you need to get something. If you want to store anything separately in your tray, no problem. See, they thought about that too. They gave you these 3 little metal dividers, and they fit directly into the tray like so. They've got little adhesive strips on the bottom, so that way you can just stick them in place anywhere you need to and keep anything separate. But really, the tray is incredibly handy. You can even keep your drinks in it if necessary. But I did notice something quite suspicious about the tray. See? Why in the world did they make the tray exactly the size that they did? I wonder. You tell me. Whenever you work with a flex shaft, you're bound to do this. Go for your handpiece and it's not there, and you grab the shaft and you got to feel all the way down just to get to the handpiece so you can start doing your work. What a hassle. Why do we keep doing that? What we need is a place to put this handpiece so we can always get to it. And what you need is a handpiece rest. And you can get the dual handpiece rest for the Foredom workbench system. Just clamp it onto the support rod of your stand and you've got a wonderful place to put your hand pieces where you can get to them easily and conveniently. So just grab your hand piece and go. That's pretty awesome. You know, lighting your workbench has always been a problem. Lamps can be big and take up a lot of room. Sometimes they don't give you enough light in a certain area. So any workbench system really needs to address that. And the Foredom workbench system has. It has the LED light bar. Now the LED light bar is fabulous because it is a 31-inch strip of LED lights that when you lower it down, gives you brilliant white non-glare light over your entire work surface. And when you need to turn it off or just need to get it out of the way, simply raise it and turn it off, just like that. Think you've got a lot of stuff on your workbench? Don't worry. The Foredom workbench system is modular. You can buy all the components that you need for as little or as much as you've got. The Foredom workbench system. It's incredibly easy to use, It's incredibly versatile, modular, so you can mix and match and build the storage system that's going to work for you. Can't think of a better piece of equipment to store your items than that. My name is Scott with FDJtool.com. Oh, hey, you want to see how strong this magnet really is? Check this out. That's a strong magnet.